Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on the author of the kids' books, Duck and Moose, Kirk Reedstrom. We talked about his career path and how he became a children's author, about how he developed the characters of Duck and Moose, how a hand injury made him draw differently, his love of music and playing bass, how he sees himself in both characters Duck and Moose, how he got a book deal with Disney Hyperion, his love of pop culture, his day job, and how he challenges himself creatively. I genuinely enjoy reading the Duck and Moose books with my kids, and I'm really grateful Kirk took the time to do a call with me. The fourth Duck and Moose book, Moose's Bad Hair Day, came out this year, and you can request it at your library or find it at Barnes & Noble and online. Make sure to check out Kirk's website, kirkreedstrom.com, to find where you can buy the book. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, Kirk, tell us about yourself. You're a children's author. You're a cool dude. If you had to do an elevator pitch of who is Kirk, what would you say?
I am an author and illustrator, so I make the Duck and Moose early reader graphic novel series that was published by Disney Hyperion. The fourth book, Moose's Bad Hair Day, just came out on September 2nd. It's been 4 books in 2 years. It's been
I saw your publishing dates,
ride.
and I'm like, dude, what that is? I thought normally like you waited like a year, but
That's
not
what
you.
Not me. Not me. Yeah. Well, so part of that is because the first 2 books published at the same time.
Okay.
Duck Moves In, Moose's Bad Hair Day published on the same day, so that was March 5th of 2024. And while I was launching those books, I was also working on the final art for the third book. So the first 3 sold in one book deal together, and then
Okay.
Disney tacked on the fourth book like last June. They're like, hey, can you make a book in a month?
Okay.
Yeah, they were like, oh, yeah. Can you write this book in a month? I said, no, I can't, but we'll see what we can do. So we really cranked out this newest one. But I think because that was so fast, I couldn't second guess myself on like anything. So I think it's the funniest, and maybe the most unhinged one that I have so far, and they've been so much fun to make.
That's cool. No, I mean, it's kind of like, I know like some bands, I will probably talk about music a little bit because we both seem to love music. But like whenever a band goes into the studio and they're like, okay, you have 4 days to record this album, almost everything's live. They can't overthink it. And it more captures the moment as opposed to this really perfected thing. And so like, it's just a different energy. And it's also kind of fun at the same time. Also a lot of chaos though at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, one of the reasons why my style, as a younger artist, I really wanted to do like photorealism. So it's when you draw something that looks like exactly like what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like then I realized it was taking me like 2.5 months to do one spread of a book, and I was like, I can't do this. I've got to go faster. So I actually had a pretty bad hand injury a couple of years ago. I was cooking. I like to do the cooking at home, and I had a glass break in my hand, and I had to get like 10 stitches in my drawing hand.
No.
And so then I started drawing with my left hand and writing with my left hand. And actually, that's when my wife and I we bought our house then too, and I had to sign all the paperwork with my left hand, so it looks like a 5.5-year-old was signing hundreds of pages. When I started drawing with my left hand, I was like, am I going to be able to keep on drawing, or am I going to have to give that up because I had some nerve damage?
Yeah.
And so I started doing these really wild doodles with my left hand. I was like, this is more fun.
Yeah.
I like this better than what I was doing. And so then I started experimenting with drawing a little looser, and I use pins that I'm not very good at using too. So that way I try to show some mistakes in the books too. And then I really simplified my characters because I wanted to make sure that kids and adults could also draw them.
Yeah.
And that's when people started actually liking my work.
Yeah.
No one liked the other stuff.
Oh man, isn't that the truth? You're like, hey, I'm gonna be really niche. You're gonna tell how much I care about this craft and my drawing. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And here's like a doodle. That's great. Show me that doodle.
Yeah. Do more of that stuff. I was like,
do more of that stuff.
Really? Okay. All right.
I mean, I will. That's better for me, realistically.
But yeah. So let me talk a little bit more about the books too. So the first book is called Duck Moves In. It's about a grumpy moose and happy-go-lucky zany duck that decides to move in on top of his head, as ducks are wont to do.
Yeah.
And Moose is a lot like me. I'm a big introvert, and so the only thing I really want from life is to be left alone, just like Moose.
Yeah.
But I also realized, like, halfway through making the first book, I realized that I also had a lot of duck in me. So, like, I'm a younger brother.
Yes.
I am the annoying one, and so when I realized that was what Duck was, I was like, okay,
yes.
I can round Duck out a little more, and so all of the books are kind of about them and their friendship and about how they don't always get along, but they're still buds.
Would you say that you like to live in peace and quack? Is that what you're trying to say?
That is the motto. You know what? My agent actually thought of that too. I need to give her credit for that.
Okay.
Yeah. The first sign said "Live, Love, Quack."
That's pretty good too. That's pretty good.
And she's like, "Oh, it should be peace and quack." I was like, "Well, I'm a little upset with you because you're right."
Because you're right. You can also do eat, pray, quack. There's just so many.
Oh yeah.
Just go to a Cracker Barrel and look at all the throw pillows, and you've basically got years of material right there.
Yeah, that's pretty much Duck's vibe.
That's awesome. How does it feel? Like, I know, like, we've had a couple of children's authors on here, and like, you have to have like such an entrepreneurial spirit. You have to have such like a hustle to you, and you have to put yourself out there constantly. How does that jive with you being more introverted? Like, is that why you have an agent, have people who can help you out with that?
Yeah. I'm also a musician. I was the artsiest fartsiest kid. So I did orchestra and violin. Okay. I did jazz band. I sang in youth choirs and did the chorus for my high school senior theater show. And I learned that I really like performing, but it's like it's just a different kind of hat that you put on.
Very much so.
So when I go out, and there's something about, like, I think, are you a Mike Birbiglia guy?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yes, okay, yes, yeah.
So I can't. I'm gonna credit this to him, but I might be getting the wrong stand-up. But he's like a pretty anxious dude. But when he goes out on stage, he's like in control of everything, too.
Gotcha.
And so, like, like, I really know what I hope that I know what I'm doing there. I hope I remember how to read my own books and things like that. But I also worked at a bookstore that I got to see hundreds of authors do presentations. So I got to, see kind of what the vibe was, and then try that out on my own. So whenever I'm doing the presenting, I also do voices for both of the characters too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So my voice basically just kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog. Anyway, which I used to be embarrassed by until I saw a Jim Henson interview, and his voice is just Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, so it's Kermit.
And so I was like, oh, I bet I can do that. My moose voice is further back. My duck voice is towards the front. I'll try to do it.
If you want to. If it feels too embarrassing to you, we'll take it out later. Okay.
No. Okay. Oh, what's the beginning of the first book? Oh, what a beautiful day! The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The bees are buzzing. I hate it. I want some quiet. Buzz off, bees. Chirp somewhere else, birds. Oh, yes. That's better. I can tell it's going to be a good morning, neighbor. Neighbor? Howdy. Whoa, so fuzzy and comfortable. And, it goes on and on. But, I usually feel like a little more.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
A little more confident. Then I'll have like a big sketch pad so I can, when in doubt, have, props that you can put in front of you.
Well, I mean, you're right, though. Like, if you give a 30 to 50-minute presentation or something like that, you know what you're supposed to do for that 30 to 50 minutes or so. Whereas like if I'm like, hey, Kirk, you have 3 hours to do whatever you want today. It's like, am I productive? Do I relax? Like, can you help guide me a little? Like, what's my purpose? Oh man, what do I do? So when you do a presentation, you know there's a start and an end to exactly what you're supposed to be doing on that stage.
Yeah. Well, and kids will be brutally honest with you too. So if you're not if you're not entertaining or if you're boring, they'll let you know.
They will.
I almost always check my so I do like live drawing stuff in front of the kids too, and I always check my markers before I go on stage
Well,
or
that's
like the
smart.
morning of.
Yes.
But one time this year, I tested it in the morning. It seemed fine. But when I started actually drawing, it was totally dead. It was totally dead. And I was trying to show kids how to draw a cat with like 3 shapes. And I just had these like giant crayon things that I use. And so I did that and I was trying to go over it with the marker. I was like, all right, kids, what else does this cat need? And they're like, a new marker.
That's awesome.
Like, I was like, you're right.
You got it, guys. That's fantastic. No, I mean, like, kids are brutal. Like, I've had my fair share of story times where, like, one of my kids is like, I'm done. And then they just get up and walk out. And you're like, I'm sorry, it's not you. Like, it's the child.
No, if a kid is razzing you a little bit during a presentation, it's always really fun. It's always really funny. It's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then for to actually answer the question that you asked.
Oh, yeah.
For being entrepreneurial, even with an agent, even with publishing traditionally, you do like, I'll pitch myself to book festivals. Sometimes I will reach out to bookstores to do signings and things. There's an author I really like who you might have heard of too, named Austin Kleon. Do you know his work?
I don't know.
All right. You should definitely check him out.
Okay,
so the big book of his is called Steal Like an Artist.
Okay.
And so it's like,
I'm Googling it on the second screen as you say this. So.
Excellent.
Cool. Yeah.
So Steal Like an Artist, show your work, keep going, are the big 3. He also has a newspaper blackout poems, which were also really cool. But his agent says all publishing is self-publishing, and there's certainly some truth to that. That no one is going to care about your books more than you.
Yeah.
As the person who made them. Same thing with I know you've got a bunch of musicians who have been on the podcast too.
Yes.
No one's going to care about your music quite as much as you care about your music.
Pretty much. Yep. If I'm not willing to, it's a weird metric to get comfortable with, honestly, even with this podcast of like, if I'm not willing to tell people about this podcast, why would I expect then someone else to pitch it on my behalf? So it's like,
yeah.
There's always some dissonance, but like, I created this thing. Should other people see it? Probably. Maybe. What's my self-doubt level today? I'll let you know.
Yeah. I'm working on a presentation right now called Everything I Know About Publishing to talk through people who are like, oh, I have a great idea for a kid's book. What do I do next? And the first slide is, well, first you have to actually write it.
Yeah. That's a good step one.
Which is really hard.
Yep.
And then you have to show it to people, which is horrible. But yeah, if you don't share it, no one's gonna read it.
No, you don't. And it's also, I mean, like, as someone with creative energy, I have a million creative thoughts. And then it's like, did you do anything with it? I'm like, no. So it's like, well, then maybe don't game plan the next 20 years around the thought that you haven't even, like, do the work first.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
That's actually how I got into doing kids books too. I always had too many great, I'm doing air quotes here, brilliant ideas, and then I would get through like 1/3 of half of them and then move on to the next shiny thing. So at some point I was like, okay, every side project, I'm not doing any more side projects. I'm gonna hold off on I was doing like little side music gigs at the time too. I was like, no more little side music gigs. I'm going to make one book.
Yeah.
As long as it takes. It took me like 5 years.
Yeah.
to do one book.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was like brutal. But then when I learned I could actually finish something, it started to get a little started.
Well, I mean, like, familiarity matters. And most of the fear you figure out like in the first 5 years of writing. You have to work through the self-doubt. You have to work through like, what do I actually want to say? And then by the second one, like, well, I gotta say something. Here we go. Get it out there.
Yeah. I was always like, gosh, what is my style? What is my
Yeah, right.
original
Yeah.
voice?
Yeah,
What am I
exactly.
trying to say and do with this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And then actually something that really opened me up for the book things too. I started making these little mini zines
Yeah.
during the pandemic, and it was just like I was stuck at home. I was going a little stir crazy with cabin fever. I was like, I need to
Yeah.
finish something.
Yeah.
And so I folded it with a mini zine. You fold a single sheet of paper into, you make like a little 8-page book,
Mhm.
and then I made diary comics with that. And so like a lot of them were about my bad haircuts. A lot of them were about not wanting to look at the news.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
They started getting read too, so they ended up getting picked up by like people on like Salon, and I
Yeah.
ended up getting interviewed on All Things Considered, which was wild
Nice.
to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
was
cool.
wild when when the producer reached out to me and they're like, "Do you want to talk about zines?" I was like, "I guess so."
Yeah. I mean, if you
Yeah.
think something I say about zines is worth listening to,
Yeah,
yeah, let's do this.
you want to show this zine of me dressed up as Batman doing chores because I took a Linda Berry exercise. Excellent. Yeah,
That's great. That's great.
let's
Let's
do
do it.
it. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then, just that momentum of being able to finish something and like not care that much after you finish it. You could be like, all right, this is I can just do another thing. That definitely helped.
I was going to ask, well, you said it took you like 5 years or so to figure out the book. What job or what were you doing at the same time? Was like the book kind of more like in the background of what you were doing while you were working a full-time job?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I actually still have a full-time job too.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say Disney doesn't pay my health insurance.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it sounded like you had, I mean, publishing is one-off book deals. So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
you're good for this. And then we'll talk about your contract whenever it's over.
Uh-huh.
So that's hopefully a career, but yeah, you
Yeah,
need some
yeah,
more
uh-huh.
certainty than that day to day. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've worked tons of jobs.
Hmm.
I worked in tech for a hot second doing interaction design and user experience stuff. And after I got tired of arguing for hours about where a button would go on an
Yeah.
internal communication app,
Yep.
I decided tech maybe wasn't where I wanted to be. When I was in college, I had interned for this guy named William Joyce, who's he does picture books and movies
Okay.
and things like that. He was the resident artist at the teensy tiny liberal arts college that I went to called Centenary. And so
Okay.
he did like Roly Polioli, Meet the Robinsons, The Guardians of, is it The Guardians of Childhood? It was like with Santa Claus and Jack
Okay.
Frost.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds familiar to me. Yeah.
And so I had interned for him, and we had worked on this. I came in at the tail end of this short film called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Less More. So I printed a whole bunch of posters and DVDs and mailed them out to festivals and things like that. But we had also developed an app based off of the book too. And so I used that to get a job in tech. I was
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, I know just enough HTML.
Yeah.
So I worked in tech, didn't want to be in tech anymore.
Hmm.
My mom convinced me to go work at the neighborhood bookstore, which was called Blue Willow Bookshop. It kind of looks like the bookstore in You Got Mail. So it's like a teensy tiny,
Cool. Yeah.
like 1,000 square foot space. But the owner of the store was on the advisory board of the American Booksellers Association, and they would do 300 to 400 author events every year, which is a lot. So I got to meet a whole bunch of my heroes. So
That's cool.
like John Cheska, it's spelled kind of like Skieska. He did the Sneaky
Okay.
Cheeseman and Other Fairly Stupid Tales.
Yes. Yes.
The
Yes.
true
Yes.
story of the.
Yeah.
So I met him like twice,
That's
which
cool.
was, mind blowing. And then I had I dropped out of college because we
Okay.
had some family illnesses, which is what brought me back to Houston.
Okay.
So then I was like, all right, I want to maybe go to grad school. To do that, I need to finish my undergraduate degree. So I went back, finished, worked in advertising, got married. For the first book,
Yeah.
I finished that one while I was working at Barnes and Noble. So I was
Okay.
the community business development manager for the
Yeah.
Shreveport store, which I was roaming the 3-state area trying to sell dictionaries and STEM toys to schools and kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I worked in the nonprofit sector for a little while. It was a community nonprofit that did like cradle through career stuff. So we
Hmm.
brought in like 100 volunteer readers to local third grade classes to read with kids. We launched the first Northwest Louisiana early childhood policy or early childhood development policy summit.
Yeah.
We brought yoga to schools.
Yeah.
We created internships for like ready to work trade school stuff for high
Yeah.
schoolers, so they could get some work experience and then get certificates to, go on and make more money in whatever trade they wanted to be in after they
Cool.
graduated.
Yeah.
And then I got my current day job, which is in the marketing department of a public library system. So we've got like
Okay.
21 branches where I kind of post funny memes and help everybody download their very first ebook. And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing the books.
That's awesome. That's cool. It's always so funny to like see what people's like side hustles are and what their like trajectory is, because like, I mean, so I wish a younger version of myself would have understood better the fact of like, what are you going to be when you grow up? And it's like, honestly, you're just going to pull a thread and you're going to follow it. That's what most of us do.
Yeah. I thought that I had like a really clear vision and path for what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then like none of that happened. And now like looking back at my life, you're like, oh, you worked in books for so long. You know all the sectors. Of course you would be making books. I was like, hi, I thought I was gonna go make like Bugs Bunny cartoons or, play bass guitar in a jam band and twirl in a field.
Nice. Yeah. Do you, okay, so when you play bass, can you play like an upright bass also, or do you mostly just play like a standard bass guitar?
Yeah. I played upright when they were available to me.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't travel with one?
I figured out how to fit one in my teensy tiny college
Are you serious,
car,
dude?
and I would drive that around to gigs, but those were like rented from the school.
Yeah.
So like I did bass guitar in jazz band.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, if I'm doing jazz, I guess I should play upright, but the only way to get access to it upright is if I played upright bass in my high school orchestra. So I joined a second high school orchestra class, as you do.
Yeah, of course.
So I could play. So I could play upright bass for that, and then play in college. We had a couple upright basses hanging around in our college campus that I would commandeer whenever I needed, because there weren't any other bassists playing, because our college was just that small. I was also the only, I can't remember if I said this or not. I started out college double majoring in studio art and violin performance, and I was also the only violin performance major for a while, which is really something.
Did that worry you? I mean, like if you walk into like the first day of orientation, it's like, okay, welcome, violin performance major.
Yeah, I was like, well, I loved chamber music. I was like, oh great, I'll never have to worry about being first chair in our chamber orchestra either.
Yeah.
But I was never first chair in our chamber.
We would bring in like only chair.
Yeah, we would bring in ringers from the Shreveport Symphony
and
stuff like that. And so then I played at some summer festival called Swanee in Swanee, Tennessee, and I saw just how competitive other music programs were. I was like, oh, this is
different.
This is different.
Yeah.
This is different from where I am.
Can you use your right hand anymore? Or are you still like just, okay, cool. Okay, so just that whole thing of like, I'm right hand dominant also. And like, I'm like, what if you suddenly had to do your day job using your other hand? I'm like, I just would get fired. That's what happens.
Yeah. Well, so I still have like a little bit of nerve damage, but I got pretty much all the feeling back. I do a lot of hand exercises, and I double down on ergonomic everything.
Okay, yeah.
After that, so I do the coloring for the books digitally, and I have to have a really thick, here, I can show it to you. I have this really thick orange
guide
grabby deal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like carpal tunnel town.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and I've learned to take breaks and things like that. Yeah. Care for your body. It turns out, even if you sit in that chair all day, you should actually exercise and things.
You should.
What a thought.
Just a little bit. Yeah. What do you think? Okay, so if you just finished like your fourth book, and that was kind of like, you said that was kind of like the end of your contract with Hyperion and Disney and all of that.
Yes. Yeah. So we're waiting. I sent them some more pitches. We're waiting to hear back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I should tell you the actual. I send them a lot of pitches. I think they've got like 12 Duck and Moose ideas.
That's cool.
Sitting somewhere. So with the first book, though, it didn't start out as a comic. It was a picture book. It was a 40-page picture book that nobody wanted. My agent sent it out for like a year. That happens. You get a lot of rejections.
Okay.
But I was very close to just giving up on kids' books altogether. And I was like, what do I actually want to? I had spent like half a decade working on kids' books.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, maybe I need to think of something else. And she was like, well, I'm going to keep on sending out your work. I was like, all right. Okay,
that's cool.
You go for it. So she sent out a completely different book. It was about a couple penguins who found a potted plant.
Okay.
Disney wrote back and said, we don't want this book. But we think Kirk is kind of funny. And Disney had sent me like my fastest rejections ever.
Okay.
That one book, they rejected it after like 12 minutes, I think.
Dude.
Usually with publishing, you don't hear anything for like 2 months. So I was like, they really didn't want.
This was not the correct decision for them. Got it.
So with this other book, they were like, oh, we don't want that, but we think Kirk is like kind of funny.
Yeah.
Does he have anything else? And we went, yes. And I was like, all right, this is my time. I'm gonna make it happen. I've never gotten this close before.
Yeah. You don't say, actually, no, I don't. That was my
no. I've got nothing. Nice talking to you. Thanks for the email. So my agent Anna sent everything I had ever worked on before, and that was like half a decade of book ideas, and the picture book version of Duck and Moose was a part of that. And they're like, oh, well, we think these characters are pretty funny. Has Kirk ever thought about turning it into a graphic novel? And I went, well, Disney.
Yes, I have.
Of course I have. Yeah. Thank you for asking. This has actually been my dream.
Yeah. And I'm working. It's almost done as we speak. Yeah.
And I said, give me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep for like 2 weeks. And
that makes sense.
They had given some like plot revisions and things like that. So I worked those into the book, sent that back out, and they're like, well, all right. Does Kirk have other ideas for adventures that these characters could go on?
Yeah.
And I said, well, of course I had.
Of course.
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
Here's like 6. Take your pick. And so they bought one of those. That was Moose Blasts Off. I had originally called it Duck and Moose in Space because I'm not a very original.
Because titles are hard. Titles are legitimately hard.
Yeah, well, I'm also, you might be able to tell, I'm not very good at naming my characters either, which is why.
Are you a little on the nose? A little
on
the nose?
A little. So, then they had a third book to be determined later. And so my agent turned a rejection into a 3-book deal, which is astounding. So thank you,
impressive.
Anna. Yes. Yeah.
She's good at her job. That's what I heard. Yeah.
And so after the 3rd book finished, or production finished on the 3rd book, they came back and said, hey, we want to do at least one more book with you. How about this
that's
one?
Awesome.
So that was Moose's Fat Hair Day, which I said it came out. Time has kind of lost meaning for me after this stuff. So it came out a couple weeks ago. And have you gotten a chance to read it yet? I don't want to put you on the hot spot.
Yeah. I've read the other 3, but I haven't read it yet. Sorry.
It is basically a Weekend at Bernie's reference.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yep, it's great. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get to do any more, so I'd better like double down and just see how weird I can go. And if the publisher says, you can't do that,
you can't do this, man.
I'll pull back. Astoundingly, they were into it.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, honestly, I feel like that would be kind of like, not the dream, but like I feel like if I created something and Disney was like, we're interested in discussing putting this out on with our name on it, I'd be like, tell me your rules, tell me your revisions, and I will figure out how to make this work because you're freaking Disney and writing kids books. Like, let's figure this out.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been really great to work with too. I've had a few people be like, do you really have to like constrain yourself because it's Disney?
It's Disney. Yeah.
But I'm not making Mickey Mouse. I've got I've got a little more creative freedom than someone who was doing like straight IP or like Star Wars books, right? There's you really have to follow a whole bunch of rules of the lore.
You don't have canon? There's not canon for Duck and Moose?
Well, apparently, I have created a pretty deep lore with Mutant Mountain the musical.
Okay, you have, yes.
Yes, yeah. So there's in the first book, you realize that Mutant Mountain 2, the musical, is their favorite movie. So
Yeah.
I accidentally made a movie musical adaptation of a musical that was based on a movie. And there are
Yes.
like at least 5 of them. So,
Where can we find these?
well, kids have been asking me, is there what does the Mutant Mountain song
And
sound
you've
like?
said you're a
So
musician for a lot of this episode, so I am
that's
expecting a
right.
musical theme here, and for it
Yeah,
to be present in every song.
Yeah, I need to break out the vocoder is is what I need to do. It's got to have the 80s synth vibes.
It does. When's it coming out? When is this musical coming to off-Broadway?
Wouldn't that'd be great? I would do, yeah. So, excellent puppet musical.
Yes. Then you can fully combine both of your loves of kid books and music. Your music degree, which I don't even know if you have a music degree, will finally prove its worth.
Yeah. Well, I started making some whenever I do videos, so I did a colored animatic, right? So it's not actually animated. So it's like a motion comic of the characters for a book trailer for this fourth one. I was like, you know what?
Yes.
Instead of trying to find copyrighted music that I can use, I'm just gonna make the score myself because I have.
Because you can.
Because I can. Thank you, music school.
Yeah. Did you have your friend Jordan? Did you use some of his like drum samples for it?
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Jordan. I don't know if he'll listen to this, but just in case.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, so thank you, Jordan Rose. So Jordan and I grew up in Houston together. He went to a different high school, but we played in summer jazz camps together every now and then. When every other much better bassist couldn't make it, he would let me play with him and another friend of ours named Zach Clark. And so Jordan went off to go to Berkeley and has he's rocking it as a musician. So he's playing all over the place with let's see, Corey Wong,
Maggie Rogers.
Yes, Maggie Rogers, and opening for Coldplay and performing actually on Broadway. So I don't even know if I might be too in demand for the off-Broadway Mutant Mountain the musical.
If you just get Jordan to help you write the music and then be like, hey, Jordan, I'm not using this friendship for your Broadway connections, but since you have them.
Yeah. And so he released Denim Pockets is the drum loop pack that he released.
Yeah.
And they're so good. So I got to feel like we could play together one more time and used his Denim Pockets, and they're excellent. You don't have to finagle around with any of the sound because it's mixed so well.
That's cool. That's awesome. Have you enjoyed doing like that? I know you said, or you did the example of the voices. Have you had a lot of fun like fleshing out the characters in that way also to give them an actual voice as well?
Yeah, totally. So I started doing the voices because this is smarmy marketing stuff. But when I was a bookseller, we were doing a book festival with these major selling huge deal authors. So like Judith Viorst, who did Alexander and the Very Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I'm messing up the title there.
Yeah, because it's 5,000 words.
Yeah, and the Dragon Loves Tacos guys were there too.
That's cool.
And then there's this other guy who his books are great. He makes really excellent books, but so many people had never heard of them because it's not like you're getting recognized on the streets when you make kids books. So he got up on stage and did these astounding voices for all of his characters, and he was the first person to sell out. So I was like, okay, no one's gonna know me when I get up on stage. I better like start figuring this out. And then I got really into voice acting documentaries.
Yeah, they're fascinating.
So I think there's one on Netflix called I Know That Voice.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
I just started practicing, but then giving a voice to the characters too. They've changed like a little bit. Moose is hopefully no longer just like a bargain bin Bullwinkle. He still definitely sounds like it's got a lot of Bullwinkle in him.
It's hard not to, though. You have a cartoon Moose who talks. Like, how do you not Bullwinkle it a little bit?
Yeah. And And yeah, and whenever I write the books or whenever I'm in the middle of the books too, I read everything aloud while I'm
Okay,
writing
yeah,
them. So
that's
that like
smart.
that will help me.
Yeah,
First off, it'll show me where like if I'm getting bored or like having trouble reading something, everybody else is going to be way
yep,
more bored. So
I get
that'll
that.
tell me where I need to make a revision. And if I record myself and listen back to it, I'll instantly be able to tell like way more mistakes than
Yeah,
or things that I want to change.
yeah,
So that will help me out. And working through the books too, it's usually kind of like improv comedy too. So I try to figure out what the game is, and then
yeah,
I'll maybe like pace around and uh try improvising different ideas, and then if that works, I'll write that out and be like, okay, we're gonna do this instead.
yeah. That's what the Go Banana Go guys basically said. That's how they do a lot of their songs. Is they start to write it, and they're like, okay, but what's the joke? What's the game?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if we lose the focus on what the game is, no one will like this song. So just keep it simple, keep it like straightforward, and make it entertaining and fun, and it'll be great.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So that's the idea with all the books. So the
Yeah,
first book is Duck wants to live on Moose's head, Moose
yeah, of
does not.
course.
And
Yeah,
so
or in
we
his back, right?
yeah, yeah. He does move in on his behind once. But
Yeah, for
that's when
this
he
little
like
bit.
that's when he's like, you don't want me to live on your head.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
won't
So I'll just live back
live
here.
on your
That's
head.
fine.
Yeah.
I listen to you.
Which is definitely something I would have done when I was a kid. I was like,
Oh,
all right,
absolutely. Yeah,
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 I am following your rule.
yeah. To the T. I'm being very
Uh-huh.
legalistic here. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, then Moose blasts off. Moose has a game that he likes to play. Duck does not understand imaginative play. And then I just tried to figure out the weirdest ways that Duck could not imagine or play the game the right way. Then let's see, Duck in the dark. Duck is really trying to prove how he is not afraid of the dark.
Yes.
And then this newest one, Duck is trying to hide a mistake.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so I never know what the book is about until I'm like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, oh, okay, this newest one, it's about owning up to a mistake or like coming clean on something.
Yeah.
And like whenever I feel like, oh, I think that's what the book is about, like I feel like a big pit in my stomach. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, this feels a little too vulnerable.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe this is a thing I need to talk about in therapy. Then I'm like, all right, that is definitely what the book is about.
Just so you know, that's most of parenting is your kids do something and you start telling them the life lesson as you realize
Uh-huh.
in real time that you don't adhere to said life lesson you're trying to teach them. That's most of parenting is sitting there being like, that's why you should be nice to people and watch your words. What'd you say in the car the other day, Dad? You were listening? Okay. All right. No, you're right. You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And we all
Uh-huh.
have work to do in this family.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, children.
That's right. That's life is always about growing.
Yeah, sure. Which I'm
Yeah.
always willing to do.
Uh-huh.
But that's cool. That's probably like that's probably a good sign though of like, hey, you've hit it. Like you've reached the mark of like what this book needs to be about. I'm sure if some part of your inner self or whatever is like, oh, that makes me feel a little bit vulnerable. It's like, that's probably good. Like that's probably a good
Yeah.
thing to share.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Totally. Yeah. If it's like, oh, whenever that happens, I'm like, oh no, I need to like withdraw and not go out into public for a while. I was like, all right, that like it definitely hits
You're
home
onto
then.
something. You're onto
Uh-huh.
something. Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about your books?
Sure. Well, let's see. With Duck and Moose, it was really important for me to have they're both sensitive dudes. They kind of
Yeah.
wear their emotions on their sleeves, and that was pretty important for me. And I wanted to make sure actually they started out being way meaner to each other. They're always
Okay,
pretty mean
yeah.
to each other in the first
Yeah.
couple of drafts. And then I had to make some like ground rules like no, Duck and Moose actually like each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the first book, Duck apologizes at the end. Duck didn't apologize in any of my first drafts.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so because my friends and I did not apologize very well to each other when we had messed up, and I was like, okay, and but that didn't track with people, and so now Duck models good behavior. And, you know, if your message isn't coming across right, so like to me, like Duck was apologizing through his actions, but that wasn't clear to readers.
Yeah.
That was a writing problem for me. So like I'd be
Fascinating,
willing
yeah.
to I'd be willing to revise that. So now Duck and Moose, they're a little nicer to each other.
Mhm.
They still mess with each other. I always
Yeah.
tell kids it's like, you know, you're not always going to get along with your bestie, but that's okay. And if you can work through it, maybe your relationship will be even better.
Yeah. No, because I remember like your first book, I interpret it as Duck just having a very strong personality. But you're right. If he wouldn't have apologized, be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Moose. I didn't realize that I was annoying you." Like if that panel wasn't in there, he would have seemed callous and very
Yeah,
much
yeah,
like what's wrong with this Moose? I'm awesome. And it's like, no, man, it's not wrong to have like a strong personality, but you also need to look up and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I came on too
yeah,
strong. My bad."
yeah, totally, totally.
When you have two characters and you've basically got the odd couple, you've got the very straight-laced Moose and the wacky Duck, they're naturally going to have friction, but how to make
Mhm.
the friction kind and not cruel, I'm sure it takes some working with before you feel like you've got the pattern down there.
Yeah, yeah, it does take a little work. I also usually I'll leave room for myself to add more humor in
Okay.
like all the parts too. So usually the first draft isn't very funny either.
Yeah.
Might have like one joke, and so that if they're the zaniness and the humor usually makes them feel a little kinder to each other too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. More quirky, where
Yeah.
the edges are much more round or not as rough. Whereas
Mhm.
whenever I'm in a super direct mood, I'm like, I am being a jerk to everyone. I need to
Yeah.
have some humor or something like that because my
Yeah,
desire to
maybe a
get stuff
snack.
done. Yeah, I need to get a snack and calm it down because I'm not making anything better here. So, okay. So, anyway, so I'm
Yeah.
going to wrap up
5 questions time.
5 questions. Let's
Yeah.
see how this goes. So, first question is, what was your favorite kids show growing up?
Okay. Freakazoid.
Freaks. What was his tagline? He had a really weird tagline, didn't he?
Wait, he had like a couple.
What was it? What were his taglines? Oh, that show was
Okay.
so perfectly weird.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay. Well, there was like he can't fly,
Yes.
but he would always try to fly, and so he would like run around.
Yes. And like flapping his arms.
He always would like Cosgrove, the cop friend,
Yes.
would always be like, "Hey, Freakazoid, do you want to go to the Honey Harvest Festival?" And he was like, "Do I?" And I learned that most of that was improv.
Was it really? That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, which is why they had a really tight production schedule, and so they
Okay.
just got the guy who was he was a writer too. His name is Paul Rugg, and he was a writer on the Animaniacs and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And he came from the Groundlings, I think.
Okay.
But they're like, all right, Paul, just go into the sound booth and do your thing.
We'll adapt to you, man. You got this.
Yeah. So yeah, Freakazoid was like perennial favorite.
I wonder always if Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs would still stand the test of time, or if kids nowadays would watch it and be like, why am I watching this? Like, was was it good, or was it good because I was a kid? I don't know.
Yeah. I've started going back to watch some of the humor. It was the 90s. It did not.
Yeah, very much so.
age
Yes, yeah.
super
Hello,
well.
nurse. Yes.
Yeah. But a lot of it is still really funny. They still hit the comedy beats pretty well. I would be interested to see what an actual kid thinks of
Well,
of
because
those.
like Animaniacs, all the jokes were very pop culture driven and pop
Mhm.
culture focused, and like if they have a joke about Frank Sinatra, my kids don't know the hell Frank Sinatra. Like I
Yeah,
want there's so many like cultural icons that they reference in Animaniacs that I'm like, these kids don't know who Marilyn Monroe is. I'm like, they don't know what Frank Sinatra is.
Yeah, totally. Actually, so one of the writers for Animaniacs who went on to showrun Pinky and the Brain, he
Yeah.
wrote and directed the new Dogman movie.
Did he
So
really?
yeah,
Okay, that
So
tracks.
that's
That
Peter
tracks.
Hastings,
Okay.
who went to Berkeley and studied jazz composition.
Yeah.
So we're bringing
That's
it all
like
around.
You
back
like
to,
you almost did.
like I almost did. But yeah, so like his humor still tracks.
Yeah.
And
Still connects with kids.
yeah, I also like to do a lot of references in my books too. I try not to be too referential, but if I do, like with this fourth book, there's a big Weekend at Bernie's reference. I
Yeah.
feel really strongly like the joke has to work on its own.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Like
A
it
nod
can't
to the
just-
source
yeah,
material,
yeah,
but not dependent. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Freakazoid, favorite kids cartoon from
Okay.
when I was a
Okay.
kid.
Next question: who is your favorite TV dad? Like, do you have a favorite movie or TV dad?
Yeah, okay. I've been racking my brain about
Okay.
this since I started listening to the podcast. So my first inclination was like, oh yeah, the dad from Bluey.
Oh, Bandit.
Who
Yeah,
is
yeah, of course.
yeah, Bandit. He's like, he is what I would aspire to be.
He's what
as a,
no, the standard's too high. Just so you know,
Yeah,
no one is
yeah.
Bandit. It's just
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for failure and inspiration all at the same time.
Yeah. My second maybe more realistic one, and now we've talked off recording about how much I like the Critic too.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. He is solid dad. I wanted to go, I was like, okay, I need something original though. And I was like, what about the dad from Baby Blues? You remember they did a
what's
cartoon.
Baby Blues?
Okay, they did so it was a newspaper comic, right? Came from the Simpsons writers.
Yes. Okay,
and
sorry,
it was on
keep
UPN.
going.
It was on
Yes.
UPN, I think, for like 1 or 2 seasons. I just
gosh,
rewatched a
yes.
couple of the episodes, and I was
Yes.
like, all right, this dad is obnoxious, and I relate to him like way too much. And so that's got to be he is certainly not a perfect dad, but
Baby
that is my
Blues
answer.
Is such an obscure rabbit hole that I did not expect to be reintroduced to. Oh my gosh, yeah, like Zoe and Wanda. Oh my gosh. Man, yeah, because it was a comic. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. That is me having. That's like when someone let's open up a weird door because I used to read the comics all the time whenever I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So
Okay, I should have said that about the Duck and Moose books too.
yeah.
So I changed the materials that I use that I draw with because
yes.
I wasn't like a big Marvel DC guy. I wasn't a big superhero comics guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid to read a Batman comic now, but it wasn't my jam when I was a newspaper comics guy. So like Calvin and Hobbes, Beetle Bailey, Baby Blues, Luann, for better or worse.
Yeah.
So and Peanuts, of course.
Yeah.
Far Side. So when I was trying to think of like the way I wanted to ink the books, I got something that's called a nib pen. So it's like a wooden wand. It looks like, you know, you're a magician or something, and a metal tip, and then you dip it in a big vat of ink, and you like make a big mess. But that's what a bunch of the newspaper comics people used. And I was like, okay, I want to I want to evoke that vibe with the art of the books. So I wanted to make it look a little more newspaper comic-y instead of having like every now and then I try to draw straight with the on my digitally on my tablet or on my iPad or something like that, and it always looks like a little too perfect for me. So I liked the like wonkier lines that I could get. But yeah, so newspaper comics. I was a Baby Blues guy. Yeah,
that's awesome. I completely forgot about Baby Blues. I feel like I remember reading Baby Blues, and now I'm gonna that's a weird rabbit hole in my head where I want to like now overly like Wikipedia and research it. And I'm like, Devin, you're in the middle of an interview. You can't do that right now.
Yeah, there was a well, and so it was showrun by another one of the Simpsons writers. So it's got that same thing as the Critic. That was another like it came out of the Simpsons writers room.
Yep. Oh my gosh, the opening theme song was a Bare Naked Ladies song.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I need to go back to the other window here. Okay.
Yeah, look up some episodes we're done. I also learned that the Critic is streaming on Tubi now.
Is it really?
So, yeah, you can watch it.
Okay. That also makes me think of Dr. Katz, therapist.
Oh,
very early. What?
Love
John
that.
Benjamin. Yep.
Yep. Love that. Loved like home movies too.
Yep. All that early Adult Swim, man.
Yeah.
So anyway. Okay. Next question.
That's not a TV dad. That Coach McGurk was not a dad.
He was not, but he was fantastic. And I would probably relate to him a lot more than I realize now.
I think like Bob from Bob's Burgers. I relate a lot to Bob.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like that voice actor, is it H. John Benjamin? Is that his name? Yeah. I think he said that he's done, because I think Bob's Burgers has been a show now for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
He's like, I no longer know where my voice starts and Bob's begins. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What's your go-to replacement curse word? Let's say you're doing a drawing thing with a bunch of kids. You stub your toe, you drop a pen on your blah, 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 and you're about to say a curse word, but you know you can't because you're in front of children. What do you say instead?
I say yowza.
Yowza?
Yowza.
Yowza.
Yeah. Yowza and yikes. Those were
yikes.
Yeah. I used to curse like a sailor.
Yeah,
but that's frowned upon.
It is around children. Yeah, just so you know. Yeah.
So I started just saying, I would be like, yikes.
Oh, yikes.
And they're so silly. I feel so ridiculous when I say them, but now it's just part of my lexicon too. So I just say them like naturally now.
That's awesome. I'm a kid's author, so I
Yeah.
gotta keep it clean, guys.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. Okay, next question. What is like a favorite like activity you would do with kids? Like if you were like there to entertain kids, is it drawing pictures? Like what's a favorite activity to do with
Yeah.
kids?
Okay. I do this thing called the squiggle game.
Okay.
So I learned about it from the cartoonist Linda Berry, who
Okay.
we're gonna bring this back to The Simpsons again. Do you know who Linda
Yes.
Berry is?
No,
Okay.
I don't, but please do
Okay.
tell.
So she was this weird underground cartoonist. Now she's like a MacArthur Award winning educator
Really?
doing all this amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like look up some of her lectures and look up when she was on David Letterman.
Okay.
But she went to college with Matt Groening.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he was the editor of the newspaper, and he was like, I will publish any comic anyone
That's cool.
sends. And she was like, well, okay, bet. And would send him the weirdest stuff, and he would always publish it. So they would
That's
do their
cool.
weird underground comics together. So has this thing called the Squiggle Game, where she learned about it from this British psychoanalyst named Donald Winnicott, who was like big with Melanie Klein and Anna Freud in like the 1940s, right? So
Okay.
like really old stuff. So he would use this to communicate with his very young clients. You
Yeah.
draw a squiggle, so like a little scribble, and then you turn it into something. So it's like
Cool.
looking at
Yeah.
like shapes and clouds.
Yeah.
So the first one I always do is like you turn your squiggle into a monster. And then if I'm doing like a live activity with kids, I'll have a kid come up and draw a squiggle for me, and I'll
That's
turn it
cool.
into something.
That's fun.
Like I always like throwing them for a loop too. So it's really fun to like you draw a squiggle and then you just like pass it to your friend and see what they can do. I always say the goal isn't to make a good drawing, it's to make a drawing that surprises you.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that is my favorite.
I'm awful at drawing. So like it's like I feel embarrassed by my drawings. I feel like that game I might actually be able to participate.
Yeah. Well, and like there's a lot of pressure when you draw. So if you can
There is.
take some of that, if you can take some of that off, you're like, oh, look at this funny weird thing, because it's never gonna come out right. It's always gonna look really wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah, try drawing a squiggle and
Okay.
turning it into a monster.
Cool.
It
Okay.
can be a
I'm
friendly
gonna
one,
actually try
scary
that.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that sometime this week and see how it
All
goes.
right.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
And then last question. This one might be more logical focus. Since we spent so much time talking about publishing books and kids' work and stuff, if you had to give one piece of advice for someone who wants to start a kids' book or thinks they have a good kids' book idea, what is it? What would your advice be to them?
Yeah, finish your draft.
Yeah,
Finish
that's
one
fair.
draft, but you can also join the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. So there's actually a big Denver scene too. There's a big Colorado group. So it's an international organization. They have regional chapters all over the country, and they have conferences and meetings where you can go and send your work to editors or to agents to get feedback. You can find your own critique partners too.
Cool.
And that is actually the most important thing. So I'm going to assume you've already finished a draft.
Yeah.
You've got to share it with other people who aren't related to you for feedback.
It's a crucial detail.
Yeah. And and that's where you make your community too. Cause you get so many rejections.
Yeah.
Your writing and drawing friends are, always there to, support you.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. And then last thing is just like moment for self promotion. So yeah, if we want to like find your books, but I found your books at the local library. So like if I wanted to purchase your books, self promote yourself. What's your website? All that good stuff.
All right. My website, believe it or not, is www.kirkreedstrom.com.
Stop it. That's too simple.
So that has all of my information. You can sign up for my newsletter too, which I send out monthly-ish.
Yeah.
I actually do the squiggle game in it. So
Cool.
it has writing and illustrating prompts. So it'll have a prompt that I found online somewhere. I was like, I think this is a good jumping off point for a story. I'm going to do a squiggle. I'm going to turn that into a character based off of the prompt. And like, here are some questions if you want to like write a story based off of the character that you drew. Cool. Then it'll have my own self-promotion stuff.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's your email. It should.
Yeah. You can find Duck and Moose wherever books are sold. So your local independent bookstore, library. If it's not at your local library, go ahead and request it. Amazon and Barnes and Noble too. You can even order it on Target.com.
Can you really?
They're not
Nice.
they're not in the Target stores, but they sure will ship it to you.
Man, I'm sure. I mean, like kids' book, I feel like are one of the few mediums in which like a hardcover is what people still want. So
yeah, we were all worried that like with ebooks it was going to totally change. But like when you're reading, like you've got bedtime going on, you don't want a screen at bedtime, and it's so much more fun to like physically flip the page too.
Yeah,
I always say that. The page turn, that's where like my jokes land. So like any big joke, it's going to be on a page turn.
Yeah. As you process it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's cool. As opposed to like, because when you flip on a screen, it's not, and also your kids like, or my kids are like, once they realize there's a screen and they can touch it and do things, then that's all they care about. And they stop paying attention to anything else.
You're like, hey, pull up some Bluey or Miss Rachel. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're just sitting there and you're like, well, that's the exact opposite. Who's texting you? It's like, it's your mom. She's asking why I'm not done yet. That's and this is why we're not done yet. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what an episode is. As we just kind of hang out, talk for a bit. Thanks for sharing your story and like all your journey and how you got to this place in your life. And I do genuinely, I think your books are fun. Whenever I saw that like the fourth one was coming out, I was like, oh man, I can't wait till I get to read it. I know I haven't read the PDF yet, but also like I just said, it's hard for me to read PDFs with my kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I also have not managed to. I have an envelope with your address on it. I've not managed to like send it to the post office yet.
You're good. Listen, accomplishing anything in this day and age is always a miracle. So like if anyone does anything, I'm like, hey, you did it today. You know what? And that's great.
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, it really was. It is always a shock when people have like found my books or like know that they know that they exist. Really? Wow.
Yeah.
You found them in the wild? It wasn't
and you
just
read
me
them more than
them
once?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I missed out on doing the critic. Buy my book.
Buy my book. Buy my book. And that obscure line is where we'll end the episode because I also enjoy obscure things, as you can obviously tell.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks again, Devin.
Of course. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you next time.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Imperfect Dads Podcast, and make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us, such as Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. The music is provided by The Wild Feathers, and all episodes are produced by me. Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.